They told her it was tradition, as if that single word could crush a lifetime of dreams. They said good girls don't question, don't push back, don't want more than what they're given. They said her dreams were dangerous, unnecessary, shameful. They said sacrifice was her destiny and silence her virtue. For a long time she listened, not because she agreed, but because fighting tradition feels like fighting an entire world with bare hands. What they didn't understand was that a woman who dreams is already dangerous, and a woman who refuses to let tradition bury her dreams is unstoppable. She was born into rules written long before her first breath. Rules about how she should sit, speak, dress, and dream. Especially dream. Dreams were allowed, but only small ones, safe ones that fit neatly inside walls built by others. From the moment she understood the world, she understood limits. Not her limits, but the limits placed on her. She watched boys be encouraged to explore, to fail, to rise. She watched girls be trained to endure, to adjust, to accept. And she learned early that wanting more made you ungrateful. She was praised when she obeyed, loved when she stayed quiet, protected when she stayed small. Every time she showed ambition, it was gently corrected. Every time she asked why, she was reminded of honor, family, culture, respect. Words that sounded beautiful, but felt heavy. Slowly, she began folding her dreams into smaller shapes, hiding them where no one could see, not because they disappeared, but because she was told they were inappropriate. Inside her, a different voice grew stronger with time, a voice that asked dangerous questions. Why is tradition always heavier on women? Why is sacrifice always expected from the same shoulders? Why does respect mean silence? She tried to ignore that voice. She tried to drown it with responsibility and obedience. But dreams do not die quietly. They wait. They ache. They demand. The breaking point did not come from rebellion. It came from loss. The loss of years spent waiting. The loss of confidence slowly drained by constant correction. The loss of the girl she once was, the one who believed the world was wide. One night, she looked at her reflection and barely recognized herself. She was doing everything right according to tradition, yet everything felt wrong. That night, she admitted the truth she had been avoiding. If she continued like this, she would survive, but she would never live. Fighting tradition is not dramatic at first. It starts with internal war, guilt against desire, fear against hope, loyalty against self-respect. She wrestled with all of it. She loved her family, she respected her culture, but she also loved herself, and that love had been neglected for too long. She realized something powerful. Tradition that demands your destruction is not sacred. It is control disguised as virtue. Her first acts of resistance were quiet. She educated herself in silence. She planned when others slept. She worked on her dreams in stolen hours. Every step forward felt like betrayal and freedom at the same time. Fear followed her everywhere. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of being labeled difficult, selfish, disobedient. But fear was no longer enough to stop her. Regret scared her more. When people noticed the change, the backlash came fast. Concern masked as love, advice disguised as warnings, pressure wrapped in prayers. They told her she was changing. They were right. They told her she was forgetting her place. She was finding it. They told her she would regret this path. What they never asked was how much she already regretted staying silent. She was accused of being influenced, corrupted, proud, as if a woman cannot think for herself, as if dreams must belong to someone else to be valid. It hurt, especially when criticism came from those she loved most, but pain clarified her purpose. She learned that being brave does not always look like confidence. Sometimes it looks like trembling hands that refuse to let go. She did not fight tradition with anger. She fought it with consistency, with discipline, with progress. She let her results speak where her voice was dismissed. Slowly, resistance turned into confusion. Confusion turned into reluctant respect. Not everyone accepted her path. Some never would. She stopped needing them to. The hardest lesson was understanding that love can exist alongside limitation, that people can care for you and still fear your growth. She stopped trying to be understood by those committed to misunderstanding her. She stopped explaining dreams that did not need permission. Her life became quieter, but stronger. There were moments she almost quit, when obstacles piled up, when loneliness hit harder than criticism, when the weight of carrying her dreams alone felt unbearable. In those moments, she reminded herself why she started. Not to prove anyone wrong, not to rebel, but to breathe freely, to wake up without resentment, to recognize herself again. As she moved forward, something shifted inside her. She stopped seeing tradition as an enemy and started seeing it as a test of how much she valued her own life. She learned that honoring her roots did not mean chaining herself to them. Growth does not erase culture, it evolves it. Success did not arrive suddenly. It arrived piece by piece, small wins, quiet victories, each one strengthening her resolve, each one proving that she was not wrong to fight for her dreams. She carried herself differently now, not loudly, not arrogantly, but firmly. Like a woman who had survived the storm she was warned not to enter. People began to talk differently, some with pride, some with discomfort, some with silence. She no longer needed applause. She had something better: peace. The peace that comes from alignment, from choosing yourself without hatred for where you came from. Other women watched closely, women who also felt suffocated by expectations they never agreed to. She did not tell them to rebel. She simply lived honestly, and that honesty became permission. Proof that tradition can be questioned without destroying everything. Proof that a woman can choose herself and still stand tall. She understood now that bravery is not about fighting people. It is about fighting the belief that you do not deserve more. She did not reject her past. She transformed her future. And in doing so, she became something tradition never expected. A woman who respected herself enough to rewrite the rules. She fought tradition not with hatred, but with courage. Not with rebellion, but with purpose. And in saving her dreams, she saved herself.